Wow, I'm noticing I'm red. I had a lot of fun going outside today and playing with the snowplow, and I think I got a little wind beaten, but no worse for the wear. Hi guys, I'm back again with another vlog, and this vlog is going to expound a little bit upon the last vlog. And in the last vlog, I shared with how fear was the major detractor from your purpose, from getting to your purpose, along with shiny objects, distractions. And I shared that the cure for fear was to do it afraid and to do it with love. And I'm going to expound upon that. So, around actually the second time I lost weight, I went with a couple friends to a poker tournament at a casino, and a supervisor stopped me and he says, "Ted, you've changed." And I kind of looked at him and said, "Yeah, I put on a new paint job, I put on some new rims, beefed up the engine, it's running real good." And he looked at me and said, "No, really, what did you do?" And I answered him, I said, I've been on this new plan, I'm working out daily, I drink a lot of water, I eat a lot of foods, healthy foods, there's the 3 steps that I'm doing, and I laid out the whole plan for him. And he said, with a frown on his face, "Oh, I was hoping you could give me some tips and tricks." And I get this a lot, People want to know when I'm standing in the supermarket and my 6-year-old is throwing a tantrum, how I don't react. Can you give me tips and tricks for that? Or how I lost weight and kept it off for years. People are constantly asking me this. What tips and tricks can you give me? And to be honest, I can give you tips and tricks. If I wanted to sell you something, I could give you tips and tricks. As evidenced by the weight loss market, the gym market. I mean, I read in an article that gyms in the first day of January of a new year have more memberships than any other time during the year, and they have to buy all this gym equipment and put it in the gym, and they're packed to the 7th day of the month, and then there's nobody in the gym anymore. Because tips and tricks don't work. They work for selling. That's why there's a $1 billion business in self-help. There's billions of dollars in how to get what you want. But they don't work without 2 key ingredients, which I will share with you later on. And I can demonstrate that they don't work by sharing with you the first time. I said I lost weight twice. The first time I lost weight. I was in college. I was in my 20s. And I had a nutritionalist friend, if that's even a word. Well, it's a word now. Nutritionalist friend who said, if you eat more fiber than sugar and drink water, you'll lose weight. So I ate more fiber than sugar and lost weight. And that was it. And that is a wholly different thing than I did the second time. And more importantly than just what I did, it's why I did it. I did it because people thought I was fat. I went from 300 pounds to 215. I did it because people didn't like the way I looked, and I didn't like the way I looked to other people. And when I lost all the weight, nothing changed. People still didn't like the way I looked. This is just how I was born, guys. God-given. So it didn't change anything, and lo and behold, a year later, I gained all the way back. As opposed to the second time, where I decided that I wanted to be healthy, I wanted to help myself to be healthy by eating healthy foods, by working out, by taking things seriously. which then became a lifestyle, which I converted to. And it was all because of the two key ingredients I talked about earlier: heart and soul. I work in the corporate world, and it happens all the time. I've seen it. You know, I've owned a hosting company, and I see this all the time. Actually, I work in the tech company corporate world. And what you will see is these companies will come up, these new tech companies, especially when Apple was a younger company, they did it. But they'll come up and they have a new methodology that no one else uses, and tips and tricks that no one else uses, and they have great success. And these corporations look at their success and say, they're doing X and they're doing Y, that must be why they're succeeding. So then they bring over X and they bring over Y, and they instill it in their corporation, and they influence all this change among their employees to use these new processes and methodologies, and stir all this up, and inevitably they don't get the same results that this other company got. And the reason why is the lack of heart and soul. The company over here isn't using these methodologies and processes and tips and tricks to try to get something done. They're doing it because it works best for them. It works for their workflow. It is satisfying to them. And if I found that if I don't get my heart and my soul right, then no matter what I do, it's not going to work. And that's what I want for everyone. You know, really, it's about sitting down and figuring out what you want, what really matters to you. And I can give you, an exercise right off the bat, which is called the circle of influence. You take out a sheet of paper, you draw a great big circle on it, and you call this the circle of concern. And you write down every single concern you have right now on your mind, which are plaguing you. Then you take another sheet of paper and you draw a much smaller circle, and you label it circle of influence. And you take each one of the things that's in the circle of concern that you can control. An example of this would be, you can control what you eat, so that would go in the circle of influence. But you can't control what someone thinks of you, so that would not go in the circle of influence. When you're done with your circle of influence, you take that and you focus on that, and that's all you focus on. You throw out the circle of concern, you spend all your time focusing on the circle of influence, and now you know what you actually want and what you actually can control. And that will help you get to the heart and soul of it. Now, the thing about this exercise is it's fantastic. And a lot of gurus out there will tell you, oh, I use this exercise all the time. You should use this exercise. This is how to get what you want. I have learned that that's not true. In reality, you can use this exercise and you can modify it and use any other exercise you want as long as the heart and soul is right behind it. I'll give you an example. My children and me each have whiteboards. We have these huge, gigantic whiteboards. And when I first started parenting, I would write down on there pretty much the circle of influence. What we were going to do, what bothered me, whatever I could control, and then I would cross them out on a daily basis. And after a week or so, I would not do it anymore. And I got concerned. I felt guilty. I was like, I'm not following through. But what I noticed is, although I wasn't doing that, I was doing something else that was a modification or a hybrid of the circle of influence. And it just kept going. And it was being fueled by heart and soul, not by process and methodology. And when you fuel something by heart and soul, this is how you get an Apple. This is how you get innovative companies. And this is how you change things in your life. This is how you follow through with things. And there's an example going on here that I'm not going to tell you about. I'll share in a different vlog. But it has to do with the videos that I have showed you thus far. And later on, I will show you how the difference between a change using heart and soul and a change using, tips and tricks. So if you're looking for tips and tricks, maybe this isn't the right vlog for you. I mean, maybe what I have to share just isn't what you're looking for right now. Because what I'm looking for is to get to the heart of the matter, to look at what's really going on. Why doesn't this person want to be healthy? What is stopping them from being healthy? If I love myself, why wouldn't I want to be healthy? If I love myself, why would I want to smoke? And I realize when I start talking about loving yourself, that this becomes, in the world we live in, it sounds self-seeking and it sounds motivated by self. But I think there's a big difference between self-indulgence and self-arrogance and self-love. True self-love fills your cup and it runs over to others. In fact, I got to tell you, the way that I most feel joy now is giving to others. When I said I was outside today plowing snow, I plowed for about 30 minutes my driveway and I absolutely love it. But the true joy was going to my neighbors and plowing their driveways to help them because I know they have busy commutes. My one neighbor has, 2 kids and works 2 jobs. The other one can barely lift a snow shovel. That's what gives me joy, and that's the heart and soul. And that's what I love. And that's a far cry from counting the dollars that I'm going to make in a hosting company. And that change doesn't come overnight. I used to wonder to myself constantly. I would say, I don't know what's so hard about change. You just make a plan and then you change. And I have been gifted from God with the gift of being an extremist. And if you don't know anything about me, I am an extremist. And what that means is I go hard left and I just embrace new change and new ideas and new technologies and new ways of thinking and holy. And then I shift back to the middle and I balance out. And so I'm very blessed with the opportunity to try a lot of new things. And I got to tell you, heart and soul is the most 2 important ingredients in anything. So if you want to lose weight, you don't have to go buy hundreds and hundreds of dollars of products. You just have to figure out why it is that you want to lose weight for you and not, for other people, because you can't sustain that. You cannot sustain that. And that's what I found out. That's why I want to do the things I want to do, because they affect me and my health and thus affect other people. Thanks to God. Whoa, I can't talk. I'm so passionate right now. I can't even manage simple syllables. Thanks again, guys, for watching. I would really like to hear your comments. Like, comment, and subscribe on YouTube, and let me know what you think, or if you have any future topics that you want me to discuss in my vlogs. All right, thanks, guys. Have a good night.